Festival. Are we ready to laugh tonight or what? Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so good to be here. Few things about the Boulder Comedy Festival. Give it up to the founder, Zoe Rogers, who's in the house tonight. Give it up to our lovely sponsors. The reason that we're here. All right, and give it up for me. I'm your host tonight. Thank you, guys. I am a new mom, so I will hold for applause. I need it, okay? Thank you. Thank you. No, so good to be here. We have so many amazing comedians for you tonight. How many of you went to the show last night? One loyal fan. Welcome back. The rest of you, again, we're going to have such a great show for you. We're so excited. One more round of applause for the comics you're going to see tonight. Well, you know, my name is Janae Suplee. I'll be your host. And like my friends at Starbucks know me, it's Jean Slurpee. Right? Like a lot of extra letters for a little bit of spite. I started a new job recently, and one of my coworkers was like, oh my God, your name is pronounced Janae Suplee? Girl, like Timothée Chalamet? She's like, girl, you speak French, you speak French, you speak French. You have to speak French, don't you? And I was like, well, I was homeschooled and born in a trailer, so oui. Oui. Thank you for thinking I'm so worldly. Oui. It's what we did in the front yard. It was our second bathroom. I was like, come on, Boulder. I know you guys like look far at gravel and maybe you don't have roads made of them, right? That's just me. That's okay. That's okay. I am married. Any other married folks in the crowd? All right. Oh, you guys look happy. You're married, you said? How long?
10 years.
Oh, give it up for them. 10 years. You're still touching him. That's so nice. I like holding hands, being cute over there. I am married. I decided to take the plunge and adopt a grown man. Yes. It's going just like we thought it would. I'm packing a lot of lunches. It's a lot of paperwork, you know? No, marriage, my husband is so sweet, though. All right, let's do a little poll here. Marriage is hard when your significant other is like so much nicer than you are. Shaking heads, every other asshole. Thank you for coming out. You're my people. You're my people. No, my husband is the sweetest. Like, for example, we didn't start dating until we were in our 30s. And Boulder, how do I say this? He sent me something that he had never sent before. Yeah? Call it like a package picture. Okay? Like a southern headshot. Yeah. For those in the back, you're not getting it. He sent me a hammogram, okay? He had never sent one before. Ladies, I took his dick pic virginity. Scandalous. You know, and he's from Iowa, so clearly he has a southern accent. And so when I asked him, I was like, what were you doing in your 20s if you weren't sending dick pics? He was like, I was doing the important stuff. I was bleaching my goatee and starting a Fast and Furious fan club. I was like, my guy. No, I took his dick pic virginity. And when I got the photo, I was like, you're new at this. This is, you know, it was just like Bush and fear. Like, it's yours. Why are you so afraid of it? You know? And you all, the best part was this was a live photo. Uh-huh. So it just looked a little like this, like. I'm not giving him enough credit. Like, he had a little twinkle in his eye. Like, he was really excited about it, you know? Like, I'm a man now. The whole body, why? Now if we get into a fight, I just stand in the kitchen and I'm like, and he's like, all right. I should feel sad. No, so then he does that thing, ladies, where he's like, so Janae, if you took my dick pic virginity, what virginity of yours did I take? And ladies, if you've had my past, there's nothing left to give. There's nothing left to give you. I'm like checking my pockets. I'm like, what can I give you? It's definitely not back there. So I was like, babe, I never went to Portland. Until we started dating. They keep it saucy, they keep it sexy. He's like, no, we're both disappointed. Oh my goodness. I give him a lot of grief, you know. He's so wholesome. He just cries like tears of ranch, you know. I was the original Hidden Valley. And no, I am also from the Midwest. It's true. Any other Midwesterners? All right, we made it out of the land of cold hearts and hot cousins. Welcome. That's awesome. No, I am from the Midwest. I recently took a voice acting class, and he was basically like, you know, the instructor was like, you know, Janae, you have a really interesting dialect and a really interesting range. You could do Midwestern commercials in the Midwest for Midwesterners. So I'm like, I just can't shake that accent. So you guys, I think I'm going to be the voice for farmersonly.com. It's going to go a little something like this. Hey there, ladies. Don't you want to just be like me and find a guy that reminds you a little bit of your dad? That's right, a handsome fella that you bump into in the middle of a storm chase. Whoop. Didn't see you there. And I do, future husband. A guy who shows his love with 2 fingers over the steering wheel of the truck, saying hi to his neighbor. Hey there, bud. Hey there, bud. FarmersOnly.com. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, I can't give you any Farmers Only promo codes because they don't know I exist. All right, are you all ready for your next comic? Let's get this comedy festival started. He runs an awesome show in Golden called Cannonball Comedy. Please welcome to the stage, Josh Mazik, everybody.
Keep it going for Janae, guys. I think she was my volleyball coach. My partner and I got married last year. Hell yeah. I shouldn't say partner because I am straight. I don't think straight people should get to say partner anymore. Except for cowboys. Cowboys can still be like, me and my partner. We had to ride into town. We needed together lubricant. For sodomy. Well, that's butt fucking to you city slickers. It's also the name of the lubricant. City slickers. My wife and I only dated for like a couple years before we got married. Our parents met for the first time at our wedding, and we overheard them talking about, oh, we never thought they'd settle down. We never thought Kendall would settle down. We never thought Josh would settle down, which is just the nice way to say we were both crazy sluts. When you only date for a couple years, people ask questions like, oh, did you sign a prenup? And I was like, oh, no, she's got a great job. I'm an artist. I don't paint myself into a corner. Yeah, my wife, she's a therapist. She does talk therapy. So I like to bring her to comedy shows. And we sit in the back, and I ask her, what's wrong with that guy? It's almost always autism. Like every single time. It's the secret sauce. I'm autistic. I didn't get diagnosed until I was almost 30. And I've been doing stand-up for years. Just fucking with so many poor people. I first got tipped off from reading an article online. The title was, Most Autistic Adults Don't Know They're Autistic. I was like, what's this clickbait bullshit? All right, CNN, let's dance. End of the article, I was like, son of a bitch. All these years, I thought I enjoyed counting syllables. and avoiding eye contact. Avoiding eye contact. Yeah, when I was a kid, autism just wasn't a diagnosis. When I was 15, they told me I was bipolar. So I spent all my teenage years thinking I was moody and cool like Kurt Cobain. One day, I'm 30 and autistic like Pee Wee Herman. The word of the day is neurodivergent. That man was talking to a couch. We could have helped him. We met, my wife and I, online because we're millennials. I used to steal my mom's car to meet strangers off the internet when I was a child. It's no wonder I met my spouse online, you know? Just we met on the dating app Hinge. If you're not familiar, it's like Tinder, but you have to have a job. It's really classy. It looks like Martha Stewart made it for some reason. It's unique because you can upload a clip of your voice to your profile, but it used to be video before men ruined it. Every page was just some variation of, "Hi, my name's..." Look at it. I want to know you looked at it. The creators were like, "Oh dear God, let's give these animals voices." And do not tell Martha. So they let you have a clip of your voice. Here's my tip. It's hard to make a clip of your voice sexy. So here's what I did. I had a clip of me slowly, clearly describing my penis. I think it's what they wanted the whole time. Not my first marriage. Went through a divorce a handful of years ago. It was very easy. It does not count when you get married at Burning Man. They make it seem so real. We go to the divorce attorney, and she was like, "This is not a marriage certificate. This is an arrest warrant for the possession of ketamine. You should never go back to Nevada." My ex-wife and I grew apart sexually. She was really kinky, and I am not, contrary to whatever vibe this gives. Apparently, I look like I'm out there just choking people. And like, sure I am, but it's never my idea. I would describe my choke play reluctant at best. The energy I bring to the bedroom in that regard is substitute teacher. Like, sure, I'm qualified. My heart's not in it. If you're wondering about my background, I am Middle Eastern. I'm very light-skinned, depending how racist you are. If you don't see the resemblance, check this out. My dad was from Lebanon. He left before I was born. My mom told me about him, though. She was like, he was an immigrant, he had a drug problem, and he was an asshole. And to like a kid, that's hard to hear. But to an adult, that's just how I describe my friends. So I was adopted. I didn't grow up around any other Arabs. You've probably never thought about this. There are no role models for young Arab boys. The most famous Arab is Osama bin Laden. Tight second, Aladdin. Third place, the guy who threw a shoe at George Bush. Thank you, Boulder. You've been great.
Keep it going for Josh, everybody. All right, we're going to keep this party rolling for you. She is a PR consultant. She's a freelance writer. Check out her work. She's a very funny lady. Please welcome to the stage, Pam Moore, everybody.
So I am 46, which is kind of a weird age. Right now I have crow's feet and a zit. I feel like I should be wearing a crop top with a pair of Dr. Scholl's orthopedic sneakers. These things just do not pair well. One says puberty, the other says, it actually doesn't really say anything as much as it lies awake in bed at night, sweating. I hear my perimenopausal ladies over there. Yeah, I just feel like putting wrinkles together with acne, it's like enjoying a charcuterie board with a Capri Sun. There is a silver lining. You can relax. I know you were worried about my face. The zit is actually quite small, so I can only see it when I have my readers on. So I'm middle-aged, but I do still want to try new things. My goals this year are to do pickleball and Molly. I'm a little nervous about the pickleball. I did Molly back when we called it ecstasy. Yes. So did a few of you. Awesome. I do think it would be a very different experience this time around. Like in my 20s, it just made me see everyone in the club as a beautiful soul, including the men who greeted me by rubbing up against me from behind. In my 40s, I just want to hate people less. I wouldn't even mind if a 20-year-old rubbed up on me, as long as he didn't call me ma'am. Yeah, in my 20s, I was playing tennis and doing ecstasy at the club till 4 in the morning. In my 40s, I just want to play pickleball and do Molly in a sweat lodge and be home by 9. No, I don't drink anymore, though. I do prefer mushrooms to Merlot, which is kind of unfortunate because apparently you can't just go out with your girlfriends on a Thursday night to have tapas and trip balls. I mean, you can, but you might not be welcome anymore at the Westminster Applebee's. Yeah. Mushrooms just make me feel really open, peaceful, and middle-aged. It requires a lot of planning in case I have a bad trip. So way ahead of time, I invite my husband to an event on the shared Google Calendar. It's called Pam Trip Dan Light Supervision. We're real organized in our house. I am a very responsible mom, though. I only trip when my kids are at overnight camp. So they come back after 3 weeks away, and they're like, we had an epic time. We feel like we've been gone forever. And I'm like, girl, same. Time is an illusion, am I right? Yeah, they're like, I made a dream catcher. I'm like, oh my God, I was a dream catcher. I get why moms drink, though. I mean, parenting is stressful. Every time I turn around, they want something. They want food. They want a ride. They want to know why there's so many batteries in mom's nightstand. Kids can suffocate you, though. They're like Spanx for the soul. But they never flatten your stomach. My mother used to shut the kitchen doors and light a Virginia Slim, which I don't blame her. This was the 80s when self-care was a perm and a bottle of Nair. Right? In 1986, you were not Googling postpartum depression, baby 97 months old. And that's a fun joke for me because I can tell which of you took AP Math. So apparently, emotional affairs are quite common. I think finding out your partner was cheating, whether emotionally or physically, would be a real gut punch. Kind of like when you're pumped to try the new party drug, and then you find out it's just a rebrand of the stuff you liked in 2002. I do understand the impulse to cheat, though. I have been with my husband for 17 years, and believe me, sometimes I dream about what it would feel like to look at another man and say, could you please just put your own cereal bowl in the dishwasher for once? Yeah. My kink is holding grudges. According to the Pew Research Center, 78% of middle-aged women are searching for lesbian content on Pornhub. My search history features terms like hetero microaggressions. And another favorite, subtly bitchy married woman revives argument from 2010. Yeah, that's a good one. And I am sure there are things my husband would like to change about me. I think he wishes I had more patience, less rage, and my own emotional affair so that I would have another man to complain to. When we first got married, we'd hear about our friends' emotional affairs, and he'd be like, oh my God, how do you think that happened? Now we hear about friends' emotional affairs, and he's like, oh my God, how do you think that happened? No, I'm totally kidding. We live in Boulder. Our friends do not have emotional affairs. They engage in ethical non-monogamy. That is before they consciously uncouple. So when we go to our favorite club, Costco, he'll spot other men and say things like, check out the ears on that guy. He looks like he could listen all night long. And my husband is a good listener. When I talk, he looks up from his phone intermittently. He does. And he validates me. He says things like, fuck that bitch. I never liked her either. I'm like, whoa, chill out. All I said was that your mom still hasn't texted me back. Thank you, Boulder. You guys have been amazing.
Keep it going for Pam, everybody! And her half-listening husband. I dig it. All right, are you all ready for your next comic? You've seen him on NBC, Peacock, and he recently opened for Natasha Leggero. Please welcome to the stage, all the way from New York, Jonah Nye, everybody!
Happy Thursday, Boulder. Please make some noise. And happy Pride Month to, I'm sure, a few of you. Yes, thank you. And happy belated Asian American Month to basically none of you. It's Boulder. It's what I expected. It's glaringly white. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. As you can imagine, May and June are a busy time for me as a comic. May, I have to be Asian. June, I have to be gay. Imagine being a black comic and having 2 Februaries. One thing I love about comedy is I get to travel. I was just performing in London. That impressed 4 of you. Amazing for me. London, England, yes. No, I was opening for Lady Bushra. Now, Lady Bushra, if you don't know who she is, she's a South Asian drag queen, comedian, cabaret artist, okay? She's a lot, right? That's a lot. So they have me open because they need someone just a little less gay to ease the crowd into it. Now, if I look familiar, you might recognize me from my movie, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Now, this is the part of the joke where I usually point to an Indian person in the crowd and say, right, Kumar, but with this crowd. Sir, you're gonna have to be Kumar tonight. You're the closest thing we have to an Indian. Did you hear they're actually doing a sequel? They announced it this week. Harold and Kumar's coming out with a sequel. Now, I'm about the same age as John Cho. What's the premise? We are not young men anymore. It's gonna be Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle after getting a colonoscopy. No, I think it is important for someone like me to recognize the great Asian comics, though, who paved the way, you know, for someone like me. They busted through that bamboo ceiling. They made it possible for someone like me to think of doing stand-ups. Comics like Ali Wong from Beef. No need for that, she's not here. Did you think you were getting Ali Wong for $30? It's just us. Who else do I like? Ronnie Chang from The Daily Show. He's amazing. Yes. JD Vance from Sephora's eyeliner collection. Her eyes look amazing. What do they call that shade? Pope killer. See how annoying it is to misgender somebody? Now, first impressions are really funny when you're Asian, though. People always think you're younger. Like people, they always think I'm younger than I am, but actually I'll be turning 46 years old this year. Thank you. I know, even Asians are like, okay, good job. What is your skincare routine? What other things should you know about me? I'm gay. Thank you. And Jewish. Yeah, that bums out a room. 2 Jews back to back. Did you notice that? Yeah, so I was given up for adoption when I was 2 months old. Is anyone else here adopted? It's fine. Abandoned again? Totally fine. Empty seat for mom right there. Right, Kumar? Yeah, my mom's a Russian Jew, but my dad's a Southern Baptist from Texas. So on Saturdays I had a rabbi, and on Sundays I had a minister. Mondays I had a priest that was purely physical. I went to school in Boston. It was a different time. Speaking of different times, I am old enough to remember those cameras you had to get developed at the grocery store or the pharmacy, the wind-up ones? Remember how exciting it was to get your first digital camera? Oh my God. My first digital camera took these amazing photos of my white friends. But when it took a picture of me, an error screen came up that said, one or more of your subjects may have their eyes closed. Yeah, worst part about it, the camera was also Asian. Yeah, even Fujifilm couldn't tell the difference between this and this. I don't do impressions, that's actually what white people look like to me. You all look like Steve Buscemi. Objects can be racist. The faucets, the hand dryers, and airport bathrooms, those were only beta tested on white skin. That's why they don't work as well for black and brown people. So if you know someone who thinks black and brown people are unhygienic or dirty, you can tell them they're right. It's just not our fault. We've never had the opportunity to wash our hands after taking a shit at LaGuardia. Objects can be racist. AI facial recognition. AI facial recognition will get a white man's gender right 90% of the time. It'll get a black woman wrong 35% of the time. And apparently, it thinks Asians have their eyes closed 100% of the time. Just stupid. We only do that when we're driving. I hate that joke works. I hate it even more that I'm such a shitty driver. It's very let go and let God, how I drive in New York. My husband and I, we have been married for 10 years. We just hit our 10th anniversary. Thank you. We just took a big safari to South Africa. Oh my God, it was amazing. I've never felt whiter. 10 years, I'll do the math for you all. That's 20 straight years. 30 if you're a lesbian. Best part about being married this long, we've accepted each other for the horrible people we really are. Right? Like no more pretending we're good or nice people like when we were dating. We play this really mean game with each other. You can try it with your partner too. What you do is when you're out in public, look for a bad older version of what the other person will look like in the future. I know I was in LA and I did that and someone was like, that's so mean. I'm like, that's the point. Yeah, so for my husband, he's Irish, so pale, male, stale, just like I like him. It's like a dream for me. For my husband, I'll look for like some bald, heavyset white dude passed out in his vomit on St. Patrick's Day. And I'll be like, crystal ball. For me, he'll look for an old Chinese woman with 1 tooth and 2 strands of hair. And he'll say crystal ball, and we can laugh, 'cause that's the point of marriage, right? Finding that one person you can be your true horrible self with until your next marriage. There was this article in the New York Times about interracial couples and which combination of races earn the most money. So the conclusion was Asian plus white equals material success. And in my case, I married a white doctor. Oi, my Jewish mother rejoiced. He went to school to study medicine. I went to school to study music. And yet, we share the same bank account. Now it's our money. So who's on top and who's on bottom now, folks? Thank you very much. That's my time.
Keep it going for Jonah, everybody! All right, your next comic, all the way here from from New York, please welcome the very funny Armand Shaw, everybody!
How you guys doing? Hell yeah. Guys, I've been stealing someone's Netflix password for the past 10 years. And I haven't talked to them in 10 years. They came over once. They logged into my console. And I never logged out. And it's been 10 years, right? So I'm still watching Netflix on my Wii. Do you know how hard it is to Netflix and chill when you have to do this shit? I went to a movie theater recently. Haven't been to the movies in a long time. And I forgot how expensive snacks are, you know? I'm not paying that much for popcorn. So me and my friends, we went to a falafel place beforehand, and we snuck in our falafels. The movie started, right? And we started to eat. And I didn't realize my falafel was spilling tahini sauce the entire movie. So the movie ends. The lights turn on. And my crotch is covered in dry tahini sauce. So it looks like I came during the Minions movie. It didn't help that my friend's face was also covered in tahini sauce, right? We're banned from AMC. That is what happened, man. Guys, people ask me, are your parents proud of you trying to become a stand-up comedian? Yup. And the truth is, they are. Because for 5 years, I told them I wanted to be a magician. And this is a step up, right? As sad as this is, magic is sadder, I can promise you that. I started magic in 8th grade because I wanted to make friends. And it worked, I made friends. But I only made friends with other magicians. No one normal wants to talk to you after the card trick's done, right? So my whole friend group in 8th grade was just a bunch of 40-year-old white men. That's who I hung out with from 13 to 21. You know, that's my primary friend group, right? I never got invited to a school dance, but I did get invited to a lot of second weddings, right? I don't know. I still don't know how to make friends. I'm not great at it. I don't know how to do it. I've been going to a lot of bars trying to meet people, and I keep ruining it because every interaction I have, I decide to prank them. Get me 2 White Claws, I'm gonna start pranking you. You know, that is my character flaw. And what I've been doing is we'll get into conversation, right? And they'll ask, where are you from? And I go, oh, I'm from Minnesota. And they usually go, oh, I know someone from Minnesota. And I go, who? Who do you know? Right? And whoever they say, I go, no way, I know them. But I've lost contact. So why don't we take a photo, and why don't you send it to them? And as soon as I see they sent the picture, I go, I have no idea who that is. So I've made 0 friends in New York. But hundreds of people have my photo on their phone, right? And what's better than that? Probably a friend. I don't know. I just find it so funny because it's never a close friend they're sending this to. It's someone they met in college or a friend of a friend, right? The last time they sent them a text message was at least 6 months ago. And that person is just waking up to a photo of their friend, an Indian boy, and a message that just says, look who I found. Who'd you find? What's going on here? I don't know. If you couldn't tell, I'm also not great at dating. I haven't figured that out. I'm on the apps. I've been on dating apps. I'm on Hinge specifically. I've been on Hinge for a year and a half. And in that time, I've gotten 1 like and 0 matches in a year and a half, right? So I was showing my friends my profile, like, hey, what's wrong with me? Am I ugly? What's going on? And we both found out my sexuality had been set to lesbian. So 1 like is pretty good, right? 99% of women think I'm a man, and that is what I'm going for. According to Hinge, I'm straight again, and I'm happy to announce that had no effect on the number of matches I'm getting. I moved to New York 2 years ago. I don't like it. It's not fun. Don't visit. It's the worst place on earth. I was coming back from work the other day, and I got off the subway, and I exited the turnstile, and some guy decided to punch me, and I was confused. I don't know what's going on. And in the meantime, he punched me again, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm getting beat up right now. I'm the type of guy who takes 2 punches to figure that out, you know? So after the second punch, I backed away from him, and I went, hey, what do you want? And I started reaching for my wallet, ready to offer him cash. And he went, nothing. You're good to go. I was like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. And I turned around to leave, and as soon as I turned around, he swung again. Hit me right in the eye, chipped a tooth, black eye, concussion, the whole deal. That's how much I want to believe in people, right? Is that he hit me twice, and I was like, you're right, I am safe to go, right? I also went deaf right when I moved there, and I lost all my hearing in my right ear. And when it happened, I ran to the ear doctor, and I explained everything that was happening to the receptionist, signed some paperwork. And then I sat down in the lobby, waiting for them to call my name. At the ear doctor? You'd think they have a screen for us deaf people, right? But no, instead for an hour, I just stood up for every other name that they called, just guessing, right? And eventually I guessed correctly, and I went to the back, and the doctor did a bunch of hearing tests, and he went, it's fucking bad. And I was all alone, on the verge of tears, but comedy's my defense mechanism. So I just went, you can say that again? And he didn't get the joke. He was like, oh, sorry, and he tore a piece of paper and wrote it down for me. He just wrote, it's fucking bad, and handed it to me. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks so much.
Keep it going for Armand, everybody! How we doing, Boulder? We still having a good time? Yeah! All right, your next comic, she was on the festival show with me last night. She absolutely crushed. They loved her. You guys will too. All the way from LA, please welcome Dana Fuller, everybody!
Setting the bar high. All right, hello. What's up, Boulder? I'm so excited to be here. My boyfriend's family is actually from here, and they're in the audience tonight. So, yeah. They saw me perform for the first time last night, and I told a lot of dick jokes, and they came back for more. So, either they're really supportive, or Thanksgiving's going to be super weird. Yeah, I do think that women get a bad rap for using their sexuality, you know, which feels really unfair because, like, men have been doing this forever. You know, because sex isn't just about pleasure, it's about power. It's fun, and it's easy, and if you do it well, you can get things. Like jewelry, fancy vacations, your very own stand-up gig at the Dairy Arts Center. Oh, but yeah, I do have a boyfriend. We've been together about 4 years, and we recently started couples therapy. But I was excited to go to couples therapy, you know, so my boyfriend could find out everything that's wrong with him. But plot twist, I'm the problem. Yeah, yeah, I like to think of myself as a passionate person, or as our therapist calls it, verbally abusive. But yeah, she's helping me get to the root of my anger issues, and I've learned that I might have something called a degradation kink. Has anyone ever heard of this? Oh yeah, you have, you pathetic pig. It's it's when someone is like highly aroused and turned on by saying insulting and humiliating things to their partner. Here's something else I learned. My boyfriend's not into it. Yeah, so. But yeah, one of the things I love about therapy is like they always give you a perspective you hadn't thought of before. they call you out on your shit and it makes you better. Like the other day, my therapist, she blew my mind. She was like, Dana, do you want to be right or do you want to be in a relationship? And I was like, wow, I do want to be right. Thanks for clearing that up. But yeah, no, things are going well. Me and my boyfriend were talking about having children, so I recently saw a fertility doctor, and I'm learning a lot about hormones. And I've learned that female hormones fluctuate all throughout the month. They're really unpredictable. Like that's why when women make up, we're like an angsty PMS anthem. But men, I'm so jealous of men. Like their hormones are so consistent. When they wake up in the morning, they have all the testosterone they're going to have for the day, and then it just kind of like slowly fades as the day goes on. Every day's the same. That's why when men wake up, they're like show tunes, They're like, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My rock-hard morning wood is ready to play. By 7 tonight, this testosterone fades, so come get your soft serve semen sorbet. That's disgusting. Sorry, boyfriend's family. That's gross. I don't think they'll be back for more. As you may have noticed, I'm a short queen. I'm 5'1". Yes, or as my dad calls it, a shame. A real shame. But I don't know if you guys know this, but statistically, smaller things live longer. Did you guys know that? Yeah. I mean, you never hear about tall old ladies, do you? Yeah, how they say black don't crack and Asian don't raisin? Well, little don't quiddle. We do not die. See a lot of quiddles in here. Yeah, my sister, she's actually really petite too. She's 4'10", and I don't really talk about it much, but technically we do have different fathers. But I never grew up like thinking of her like my half-sister or calling her my half-sister, and I certainly never treated her like that. And that's really a credit to my mom, because anytime someone would ask if we were half-sisters, she'd be like, ugh, I hate that term, half-sister, it's so vile. You know what I say? You come from the same hole, it's your whole sister. That's right. Speaking of my dysfunctional family, I have a younger brother, and he's actually a fairly well-known actor. He was recently Rooster in Top Gun Maverick. He starred in Whiplash. It's Miles Teller. There. Now you don't have to Google him. Yeah, if you don't know who he is, yes, all right. Yes, all right, now eyes up here. Because I'm the middle child with a famous brother and a lazy eye. I need all the attention I can get, all right? Yeah, it's been an interesting shift in our dynamic, because growing up, everyone introduced him as Dana Teller's little brother. But now everyone introduces me as Miles Teller's skank sister. Yeah. But he is very generous. But I feel like rich people do this thing where they feel like giving you actual money is like tacky and gauche, Like last year for Christmas, my brother got me a Chanel wallet that cost $4,500. I was like, I'd rather have the $4,500. So like, you gave me this wallet for what? Now I got a $4,500 wallet with $8 and a Dave & Buster's points card in it. Like, great, now I gotta worry about someone stealing my wallet. If I do get mugged, I'll be like, take the money, just leave the wallet. But we do get to do a lot of like lavish vacations and yacht parties and things like that. But you get spoiled by these trips, though. It feels like you should get some kind of stipend, so when you go back to your normal life, it's not so harsh. Like I feel like the broke ex-wife that just got divorced from her super wealthy husband, and now I'm pleading my case in court like, Your Honor, how do we account for this life to which I have now become accustomed? What am I supposed to do? Feed myself grapes like an absolute peasant? I mean, you gotta wean off these trips like drugs so you don't get the shakes when you go home and sleep on your futon, Like, coming home from these trips is kind of like going through the first 30 days of rehab. Like, first I'm in the shock and denial phase. Like I just refuse to accept Uber X as my transportation, I'm like, Oh, no, 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 no. A 2005 Kia? I'd rather die. Am I being punked? Ashton, is that you, Ashton Kutcher? I haven't seen you since Tom Brady's second retirement party. You don't remember me? Miles Teller's skank sister. All right, thanks, everyone. I've been Dana.
Keep it going for Dana Teller, everybody! You know, she may be Miles Teller's skank sister, but she's funnier, isn't she? Come on! All right, we're going to keep this festival moving for you all. Your next comic was recently in the Boston Comedy Festival. Please welcome Aditya Shankar, everybody!
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Guys, I had somebody tell me the other day that white privilege is being able to walk into a country club and no one questions why you're there. I feel like I have the same privilege at any hospital in America. If I walked confidently, I could be in the operating room at Boulder Community in 20 minutes. There's genuinely nowhere I feel more welcome than at the best endoscopy lab in my area. It's really my happy place. I'm a big basketball fan, guys, big NBA fan. We just finished up the NBA playoffs, just wrapped up. Right now, there are no Indians on an NBA roster, but there is an Indian referee. So he's my favorite player in the league, actually. My friends will be like, did you catch the game last night? What a performance. And I'm like, I know. Such a well-officiated game. Did you see that double dribble call? Electric. Like, LeBron will go up for a 360 dunk. Does nothing for me. Then Suyash will call him for traveling. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about right there. Unstoppable. Like, some people throw garbage in the trash and they're like, Kobe, I'll tell a pedestrian not to jaywalk and be like, Suyash. He's the best in the business. He's the best. I know, I do like doing comedy. I've been doing stand-up for a little while now. Like, a big part of stand-up comedy these days is we all post videos online. I'm sure you've seen clips on social media of comics doing stand-up. I was editing a clip of mine a couple of weeks ago, and I had this thought cross through my head. I was like, oh, this supermodel I know, her videos get a lot of views. I should see how she does her subtitles. As if the font choice was really carrying those reels. If I just switch to Helvetica, my stuff is gonna pop off, right? My friends will be like, you have to see how hot this girl is. And I'm like, yeah, check out those closed captions. Those are some nice double C's right there. I have been trying to date a little bit more recently. I don't know, like I think I do okay on first dates. Because I'm okay with the surface level conversation, like what's your favorite movie kind of stuff. My problem is on the second date, I'm just like, so what's your second favorite movie? Do you have any new siblings since last week? So it is not going great, not going great. I actually got rejected by somebody recently. I got turned down. And a lot of my friends have been telling me stuff like, don't you want to be with someone who's excited to be with you? And it's like, you think I want to be with someone who's excited to be with me? I want to be with someone so much better than me that when her friends meet me, afterwards they go, that guy? I want her friends to be concerned for her mental health when they meet me. Okay, that's what I want them to be planning an intervention, okay? I'm from the Boston area, originally, Boston area. Yeah, go Boston. And Boston has a reputation of being a much whiter place than I think it really is. Like, I was at a sports bar in New York recently. I was watching the Boston Celtics play the New York Knicks. And a guy noticed that I was cheering for the Celtics and goes, "What? Did you go to Harvard or something?" As if that was more likely than me just being from Boston. Right? He was like, "I think it's more likely that this guy went to the most selective university in the world than it is that he's from Worcester." Guys, I looked into the demographics of Massachusetts versus Harvard University. The guy kind of nailed it, honestly. The guy, it's not even close. No. Here's how I like to describe my hometown, all right? It's not like it was completely white. But does anyone here remember Sanjaya? Does anyone here remember Sanjaya? He went on a run on American Idol in like 2006. Yeah, you guys remember him? Yeah, my hometown was white enough that people felt the need to talk to my family about Sanjaya. Right? That's kind of how I like to sum up the demographics there. I come from like a very multilingual family. We'll be speaking like 4 different languages in the house at the same time. But ultimately, we're just a Massachusetts family. So these are the kinds of conversations that happen in our house. It'll be like, "Tujhe kya lagta hai? Hum kaise karenge is saal? Bill Belichick ke bina." Or "Yav cinema norona, Sholay la eno Ben Affleck jote." Oh, Starbucks get the kapo and the Pudu Dunkin kapoidva. Rendered double chocolate frosted sprinkles were devangin va. They're wicked. You gotta check those out. Talk about religion a little bit. I am a Hindu, guys. I'm a Hindu. Yeah, but it's not uncommon for people to assume that I'm Muslim. And I'm not really religious, but let me tell you, I am never more Hindu than when someone assumes that I'm Muslim, okay? It's almost Islamophobic how Hindu I am in that moment. Someone will be like, "Happy Ramadan." And I'll be like, "I've been eating all day, actually." No beef, though. All right, thanks so much, everybody. Keep it up for your host.
Keep it going for Aditya, everybody! All right, just so you know, if you want to support more women and diversity in comedy, we've got merch outside on your way out. Yeah, thank you. This is what the shirt looks like. I feel like I'm selling the shirt so hard right now. I'm like, WWE. I want to rip it, but they're too soft. They're too nice to do that. All right, are you all ready for your next comic? He spent many years doing comedy in Denver. He moved away from us, and he's back for this comedy festival. You can check him out at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Please welcome Elliot Weber!
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I was born and raised here, man. Yeah, fuck yeah. Colorado's basically just people that have dietary restrictions and do cocaine. That's cool. That's a fun combo. I went to brunch last weekend. My buddy did a key bump in the bathroom, came back out to the table, looked over the menu, and went, I can't believe there's only 2 gluten-free options here. I'm like, bro, I can't believe you think your health problems are coming from wheat. Your nose is bleeding right now. Let's start there. We'll work our way back. I love it here, man. I'm going to miss it. I moved to Minnesota. It was cool. Coincidentally, and I'm not saying anything about who I am or what happened, but the week I moved to Minnesota was the same week that a bunch of people got shot. And I was like, what happened to the Minnesota Nice thing? I just got here. And as soon as I do, a couple lawmakers end up dead. And it's because I killed them. Yeah, I was like, I'm new in town. I'm going to make a name for myself. No, I'm just... all jokes. Mostly all jokes. He's still at large. Try and catch me. I miss Colorado. I miss traveling around Colorado. I got to go to all the cool cities here. I got to go to Pueblo, which is a city, not a cool one, but it's a city within this state. Pueblo was cool. I remember I went down there. There was a building across from the venue I was performing at, said Pueblo laser tag and tactical shooting range. Like, oh my God, what? Both? That's so dangerous. You should move those. You should put a Jimmy John's in between those to keep people safe. This is how people answer the phone in Pueblo. Hello, thank you for calling Pueblo Daycare and Pedophile Rehabilitation Center. That's going to be line 2. I went to school in Durango, Colorado. Durango's amazing. Fuck yeah. Did anybody go to Fort Lewis? They're all bartending tonight. They busy, liberal arts degrees, you know how it goes. Durango's amazing because the biggest problem in the city of Durango is bears. That's an incredible big problem to have. Imagine if it switched with the Front Range. Imagine if, you know, on every corner of the Front Range there was just large, hairy, muscular men eating out of the trash. That's a gay culture joke. Like like they're probably wearing leather. No, imagine it was real bears. Imagine they switched. Imagine it was real bears. Imagine every unhoused person on the Front Range was a bear. You know how fucking quickly they would deal with that immediately? Like right away. Because simple solution, dart them in the neck, fly them to the woods. You know? And I'm not saying that's what we do with the homeless people, but I'm also saying there's no bad ideas in a brainstorm. Put them next to the bears. Let's see who comes back next spring. That's flawed logic. That's not good logic. Because you got one or two options happen there. You either got bears that come back that have a taste for human flesh, which you don't want. Or you have something much worse, which is homeless people that defeated the bears. Holy shit, let's get those guys on the Broncos. We haven't beaten the Bears in years. It's a very layered joke. Congrats if you followed that all the way through. Because the Bears are Chicago NFL. Okay, you guys get it. I got laid off yesterday. Not a joke, just wanted to keep you guys in the loop. It will be. I'll make jokes about that eventually, I imagine. I'd like to do my crowd work section right now, the little classic comedy crowd work. Just see if we can find. Sir, what do you do? Retired. Okay, moving on. Sir, what do you do? You're a teacher. Okay, moving on. Sir, that guy's definitely retired. Wait, who? Okay, who has a job? All right, miss, what do you do? I'm a barista. You're a barista. Incredible. You're a barista. Give it up for baristas. We need them. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're a barista, huh? Well, let me ask you this. How about this? Are you guys hiring? You guys taking resumes? Because I got time to kill. Anybody else hiring? I'm using this as a LinkedIn session. Anybody else? My skills include public speaking. Let's try a different angle. Is anybody else here? Do you guys have Adderall? That'll get you a job. That'll get you a job real quick. Moving on. I'm not worried about being unemployed. I got this. Should be fine. I'll do one more joke. I like to have sex with men. It's cool if you don't, but if you haven't, you should. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. Yeah. Happy Pride Month to the Proud Boys, you know? It's all for that. Yeah, well, you know, there's got to be at least one when they're like, white is right. And there's some guy like, yeah, until Labor Day. I started hooking up with men a handful of years ago. There was one person it was hard to come out to. It was my best friend from high school, very religious. I didn't know how he was going to take the news, and he handled it pretty well. He gave me a flyer to his church that said, you can't climb your way to heaven with a handful of penis. Which is hurtful, but also true. If you've ever tried to climb a ladder with something in your hand, it's very tough to do. Pro tip, put it in your mouth. You get right up there. Thank you so much. My name's Ellie. Have a good rest of your night.
Keep it going for Elliot Weber, everybody. All right, you all, we've got 3 more amazing comics for you. You still having a good time? Your next comic, I'm so happy to bring her out. Not only is she the founder, the creator of the Boulder Comedy Festival. Yeah, she's also the CEO. Please welcome to the stage, Zoe Rogers.
What's going on, Boulder? Before we get started, let's give it up one more time for everyone you've seen. And let's give a big thank you to Dairy Arts for having us. I am so psyched to be here tonight. Not only because you're beautiful people, but because I have 3 kids. So I am just happy to be out of my house. I am also the main disciplinarian in our family. I did not run for that position. I just have it. Is there anyone else here who married someone fun? Those guys are great for pub crawls. And I'm very strict, but I don't believe in hitting. So I don't hit my kids. But sometimes, when they hit each other, I root for different teams. Sometimes I just take a minute to get involved. I have to put down my box of wine. But when I do, I say the right thing. I say, we use our words, not our hands. But what I'm thinking is, sweep the leg. Finish him. I got a chance to get off my little procreational compound recently. A friend of mine took me out for lunch, which was awesome. I got to have food and coffee when it was hot. I felt like Beyonce. But then I realized that the last time I had actually been at that restaurant was when my youngest was nursing. And when the food had come to the table, she wanted to eat too. And for the record, if anyone here cares, I was very discreet. I had on my cover-up thing that I don't actually think anybody really knows the name of. I just call them my mammal wraps. And that way no one has to know I do mammal shit. Like breathe air and feed my young. Just perpetuating the species. Ew, so gross. And surprisingly sticky. But the people that were seated at the table next to us got very vocal about what was happening, and they were not happy. If they had been breastfed, they would be smarter. And that, for me, was a very quick lesson in the difference between your first kid and your third kid. Because I know if some mouthy Karen had gotten in my face like that with my oldest, it would have shamed me. And I would have been like, whoa, these people are really uncomfortable, and this is awkward. But with your third kid, I wanted to jump up on the table, like that scene from Pulp Fiction, and be like, get on the ground, motherfuckers! Just machine gunning my tits at people. Now it's awkward. Now it's uncomfortable. Just people slipping in milk. The fantasy goes on. Because I have not slept in a very long time. My husband and I, we've been married for 20 years. Thank you. You guys are about as excited about it as I am. And I feel like he's gotten a little too comfortable in our relationship. Like the other night, I tried to slink into bed, being all sexy, in my Crest white strips. Hey there, sailor. Feeling sassier than expected. And he said, there's something I've been wanting us to try, but I'm afraid you won't be open to it. And my first response was just like, well, we had a good run. But then he said, I want you to watch Battlestar Galactica with me. Why can't it just be anal? Because this is going to be so demeaning. I volunteer a lot at my kid's school. That's an odd segue, and I know that. And the last time I volunteered, I got matched up with this girl in my son's class. And she was awesome. She went out of her way, and she introduced me to all of her friends, which was beautiful for me, but was apparently not so cool for my son. Because he waved me over in the middle of the day and said, I don't want you volunteering at my school anymore. People talk about you when you're not here. They say you're nice and you're funny, and I don't like it. And I said, thank you for sharing your feelings. That's important. But it took me till my 40s to be popular with 9th grade girls. Do not screw this up for me. I need this. We have teenagers now, and they have been kind enough to share with us that we are not cool. Which is confusing, right? Because it's like, wait, I'm embarrassing. You're a virgin who can't drive. My son, he has some attention issues, so school has always been work. But this last year, he got 100 on a test, which was huge. So I decided I would be fun mom. And I was like, hey, dude, I heard you aced your test. That's awesome. As far as I'm concerned, you're 15. It's Friday. We could celebrate with a couple PG-13 movies. But that was such a mistake. Because he came back an hour and a half later with this really dazed look on his face. And he said, hey, Mom, I watched this movie called Road Trip. And there was a lot of kissing and breasts. And I just want to ask you, is that what college is like? And I was conflicted because I'm a big feminist and I don't think women should be exploited for anyone's gain. But I also want my kid to go to college. So I explained it and I broke it all down and I was like, okay, listen. Yes! That is college. But just the Ivy League. My teenagers, their favorite thing to do is point out words I don't know. So they'll come up to me and be like, hey, Mom, do you know what Riz is? And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what that is. But I do know that you used to shit in the tub. And that is sus. I feel like it was a lot easier when they were younger because we had all these fun songs to get them to do what they needed to do. Like, everybody in this room knows the cleanup song, right? Like, I need this now. I need something like, if you want a girlfriend and you know it, wash your balls. All right, guys, give it up for everyone you've seen in your host.
Keep it going for Zoe, everybody! So good. Are you all ready for your featured performer? I was just on tour with her. She's so funny. She has 2 #1 albums and 2 award-winning specials. Please welcome Monica Nevi, everybody!
Thank you so much. Boulder, are you still awake? Are you up? Seems past your bedtime, looking at us as a group. All right. We're going to get through it, don't worry. Happy to be here. It's been a while, actually, since I've been to Boulder. And you guys are still fucking weird. So, happy to be here. I'm from Seattle, if that's okay. One lady. That's pretty good. Good stuff going on since I've been here. I've been married for 2.5 years. That's pretty good. Yeah, thank you. That's pretty good. Not everybody's making it that long. I don't know if you knew that. This is how I found out. About a week before our 1-year anniversary, I was on stage and I was like, oh, in a week, I'll have been married for a year. And this woman in the back of the audience goes, you still got a week, don't get excited. It's like, I would love to hear that story, ma'am. Maybe it is more difficult than I realized. I'm in my 30s. I didn't know we'd be going to so many second weddings in my 30s. You don't always know it's a second wedding until you get there and you get the right aunt drunk. She's like, well, hopefully this one sticks. You're like, ooh, didn't know that, Tammy. Thank you for telling me. You can kind of tell it's a different vibe as the number goes up, right? First wedding, a lot different than a third wedding. Right? First wedding, you go all out. Gown, champagne, shrimp, right? Third wedding, Broncos jersey at a bowling alley. Let's wrap it up, okay? Do you keep going to a third one if you've been to the other 2? You were like, open bar, I'll be there. But I don't, maybe it's a family member, but for a friend, can you walk into the third wedding like, hey, everybody, same seats, or what are we doing? You guys are fun. I don't care what they said before. Happily married. I'm married to a lady. If you couldn't tell by my full outfit. I am a gay. It's June. You're supposed to clap, but we'll let it go. Thank you. I wore this to blend in. It's camo. Anyways, I get a little nervous to talk about it. You know, it feels brave again all of a sudden. But I came out when I was 14. I've been doing stand-up for 14 years. Thank you. I'm not sure which thing you wooed for, but I was gay the whole time, is the point. Not until I got married was I asked to do a pride show or an LGBTQ plus showcase. I didn't know I'd have to prove I was gay enough to do one of these shows. I'm like, I think I could do your pride show. They're like, oh, really? Well, how gay are you? Like, I married a lady. And they're like, that seems like something a straight guy would do. It's also how I became a parent. I'm a step parent now. It's my favorite part of our relationship because people try to do the math when they see the three of us together. Really stresses them out. Especially, I live in Seattle. Nobody wants to be offensive, right? So the three of us will walk up and they'll be like, okay. Okay, 1, 2, okay. Did you buy them together? Next question, always, are you going to have more kids? Are you trying to have more kids? I'm like, we've been trying. It has not worked. One clap at a time, we'll get there. Some of you seem confused. You can Google it later if you need to. It was interesting. Are there other parents here? There's got to be other parents here, right? Yeah, okay. You've done... Look. I didn't know what was going on. I thought parents knew what they were doing. I didn't know you were making it up and hoping for the best. You know, I came in late, too, right? Like, I got him when he was 5. Got him, that sounds like he's a rescue. Man was offended by that. I came into his life when he was 5. I thought we knew the answers to some stuff, like he's 11 now. Is that too old to believe in Santa Claus? See, it's right on the edge. I don't know. It's always I thought we knew a number or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. All I know is it's not our job to tell him. That's some dickhead at school's job. I thought last year was going to be the year. He came home from school. He's like, my friend at school said she doesn't believe in Santa Claus. And I was like, oh, here we go. I said, well, how do you feel about that? He said, I don't think we can be friends anymore. Sticking to it, which I love. I'm a Christmas gal, okay? Believe forever. I'm not going to be the one, and I still believe in things that I shouldn't, right? I still believe in Hallmark movies. Yeah. And they're not for me. I know that. I am happily, monogamously gay married to another woman. But there's a large part in the back of my brain that is waiting for a jaded businessman from New York. Come and save our toy shop. You guys know about Hallmark. I used to say I got lucky that he's such a good kid, but that's not it. If you're going to marry someone with a kid, make sure they're a good parent. That's my TED Talk part of the set. Yeah, she was a very good parent. He's very sweet. He's a sweet kid. And he's very supportive of us, which is weird. Not in, his experience is different than mine, which is good, but maybe he's figuring it out. He's trying too hard. During the holidays, we're in the car, classic Christmas songs on. That one, Step Into Christmas, da-na-na-na. You guys know. Yeah, if you don't, that was a dead-on impression. He leans forward and he goes, hey, did you guys know Elton John is gay? I was like, yeah, man, I think he started it. What do you mean? I think he wants to be like, hey, there's other weirdos like you. I don't know what his plan is, really. He does it a lot, though. He was reading a book, and he goes, hey, there's characters in my book that are gay. I was like, great. And he goes, together. I was like, what are you reading? But his experience is different, which is good, but that's not how my brain was wired. You know, we were supposed to hide it. It was scary. People were getting disowned by their families, beat up, things like that. So we'll go to like a pride parade. He's got his rainbow wristband on, his rainbow headband on. He's like, I'm going to wear this to school on Monday. And in my heart of hearts, I want to go, you better take that gay shit off. We're going to get beat up. What are you doing? There you go. One terrified clap from the back. All right. You guys are doing good. Don't let me make you feel weird. I just thought I was going to be like a cool millennial, you know? Like I'd be unique, like different. I love all the stuff that we love. I do. And it happened when I got engaged. I wanted to lose weight for my wedding dress. People do that. I was like, I'll just do all the millennial trends, right? So I did a vegan diet. Thank you, Boulder. Yeah, it was just vodka and cigarettes, but it is vegan technically. I do try to keep up. I eat kale. Yeah, I like it, which is hard for me. I grew up in the 90s. We didn't have different lettuces. We had one lettuce. It was called salad. You could put it on your burger if you wanted to. I started running. That's what I did. I started running, and I hate it. And I hate people who run. You've been lying to us for years. People who run all the time make it sound so good. They all say the same thing. They go, oh, I get a high. I do a mile, I get a high, and then I can just keep going. If anyone ever says that to you, do not trust that person. That person has never done drugs. Okay. I appreciate the... It's the singular claps where you're like, you know what? I really liked that one. I'm going to clap anyways. I appreciate you. Gosh. I did. I thought I was going to be cool. I love all the stuff that we love. I love a cult documentary. I love it. That's a thing right now. A lot of cults. A lot of murder. Murder culture is a thing, right? A lot of docs, a lot of pods. Which is weird at the moment in Seattle. Very proud of our serial killers, all of a sudden. I heard a lady the other day, she was like, we have really good serial killers here. We have like the best serial killers here. It's like, what a weird thing to be proud of. Also, that stereotype is true. We are very passive-aggressive people. So were they good serial killers or were we just bad neighbors, you know? Nobody said anything that whole time. It's a different interview on the news. And they're like, oh my gosh, you lived next door to Ted Bundy for 12 years? What was that like? And they're like, I don't know, I never met him. I wear headphones in my own home. More into the cults, I would say. More into the cults. In fact, I have a favorite cult leader. And she really exercised her powers here in Colorado, actually. Oh, you know. Female cult leader, which I think they figured it out a little bit more. Because what's the difference between a cult and just a group that gets together? Weird sex stuff. You got it. It's weird sex stuff. That's what it. I think the ladies are a little bit more upfront, right? They're like, "Hey, we're doing weird sex stuff. Come on, get in here." And you're like, "Oh, okay, I guess." The male cult leaders screw themselves over because they're like, "Hey, come to this business leadership weekend." Love Has Won, Mother God. Are we familiar? Yeah, okay, more people know it. I think she nailed it for 2 reasons. It's on HBO Max if you want to check it out. But number 1, everyone in the documentary is still in the cult. Normally they've left, they've escaped, right? Number 2, the reason I think she really nailed it is that part of her philosophy was they needed to give her her medicine every day, which was just booze. She was just hammered all the time. They're like carrying her around, which does take a toll on your body. But instead of taking her to the doctor, they give her colloidal silver, which we as good hippies know, usually a nose spray, supposed to be good for your immune system. She's drinking like a lot of it a day, which does turn your skin blue. And it's irreversible. So by the end of this documentary, it looks like they're carrying around a hammered Papa Smurf. It is. Which is not a spoiler, because that's how it starts. Guys are a good time. These are jokes, you know, be careful. Is everyone drinking little sips of wine? Here in the theater. I love it here. I'm gonna stay. I live here now. No, be careful. That's always my little PSA at the end. Be careful with your drinking. I love drinking. I come from drinkers, but like nice ones. Anyway, you just as you get older, you gotta your limits and stuff, right? Like I had a period where I was like, oh, I should slow down a little bit. That was 2 weeks where I woke up 3 separate times with that horrible feeling in my chest. That was like, oh my God. Did I tell someone I would go hiking with them? Shit. Does that happen here? Yeah. Oh, okay, there you go. There's the one clap. One at a time. People know that. You can clap at my shows, but only one at a time. Take a number as you come in. No, do be careful. That's a joke, but do be careful. I have 1 DUI. Can anyone beat it? It was just such a quick clap, like, I shouldn't have, damn it, I shouldn't have done that. It's okay. I got my DUI in Washington State in 2014. If you know your marijuana history, that's the year that weed became legal for us and then you, right? So they started giving out more DUIs for marijuana. I got mine for alcohol like a good person. What happens when you get a DUI in Washington State, you have to have what's called an interlock device in your car, which is the blow and go, right? The booze kazoo, you guys know. More people are nodding their heads than raise their hands, but that's fine. Okay. The problem is they didn't know what to do with the marijuana DUIs. They gave them that same interlock device, which only detects alcohol. And I know that because you have to get it calibrated once a month. And it was always me and a bunch of dudes in their 40s in pajama pants. They were always yelling at the guy. They'd be like, you can blow weed smoke right in that thing, it still starts. Which is true. I shouldn't tell you that, but it's true. It only detects alcohol. The difference now, the newer ones have a camera on it. So it's got to be you that's blowing into it, right? Because the old ones, you could blow into it for someone else, right? You blow into it for your mom or whatever. And she'd take you to school like normal. I do love that joke. It does make it sound like my mom has multiple DUIs. She does not. She doesn't have any. But both of her kids do, so whose fault is that? All right. You guys have been super fun. Thank you so much. I'm Monica Nevi. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Keep it going for Monica Nevi, everybody! Yes! All right, Boulder. Are you ready for your headliner? I said, are you ready for your headliner? He has a 30-minute special on Comedy Central. We are so lucky to have him here. Please welcome Al Jackson, everybody!
What's up, Boulder? She called my name and I started walking. I was like, oh, this stage, I don't know was there a monster truck on this stage before I got here? This is fucking huge. Clap it up for Monica and all the comics. Yes, so funny. 2 comics in a row that do not hike. Yes, it is. I just don't for another reason. I don't want to go to nature because I don't know what to do. I'll get into my acting in a second, but I want somebody to convince me. Because I never know which children's nursery rhyme I'm supposed to remember. Like, okay, brown bear, stay there. Black, lay it down. I'm like, oh, well, I'm dead now. Okay, all right, that was it. I should kick this off by saying I'm 47. Yes, it's a very, my birthday's Sunday. It's weird. I'm officially an older gent. Black don't crack, but it weathers. It's happening. It happens. I know all y'all. At one point in our life, I remember looking at my parents and their friends. I'd be like, my dad's friends are 52. Now I'm 48, and I look at my kids. My kids are grown. You know, my daughter is starting college next in 2 weeks, which is full ride scholarship. High five to oh my God. Oh my God. I just want to drop the mic right there. Thank the Lord. I don't know. I was looking at these college prices, and I was like, I'm definitely going to be part of the first generation of parents where we have to talk our kids out of going to college. And be like, hey, I raised you to be an influencer. Like, what up? You know, I had to have that talk. My son is a senior in high school, and I had to have that conversation. I'm sure a few people have had to have with their kid, and it's a very serious but sad conversation you have with your child, where you tell them that you can no longer help them with their math homework. It's a real, because it's funny at a comedy festival. In real life, it's you, your son, at the kitchen table with a D+ you definitely contributed to. I saw answers that I bullied him into writing down, and I remember I was like, write it down, 7. And it came back as a D+. I was like, I don't think your teacher likes black people. We're gonna talk about that. You don't deserve this. I don't even blame myself, because I feel like unless you do math as part of your job right now, you not only remember the exact grade, but the exact part of math that you checked out on. For me, it was when they started multiplying fractions. I was done. I was out. And the teacher was like, you just flip the denominator and then you solve it. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. And she was like, why? It's right there, just solve it. I was like, I won't, and I didn't, and my life has been amazing. I was a success story. I quit and I made it right up until a month ago, where my son, because he just comes in with his iPad, and it's the math that's got the letters and the numbers and parentheses, like it's being sarcastic. You know, I'm looking at my youngest son, he's 11, he's on the spectrum. I'm looking at him like, hey, I saw the movie, get a marker and find a window and solve this. We are a team, I saw the movie, bro. Boulder, you guys did all right with the first autism joke. I wasn't sure. Well done. I get it. You know, whenever you tell people your son's on the spectrum, like, I think it comes from an empathetic place. People are like, oh, well, what's that like? I'm just sure it's tough. I'm like, what's that like? I mean, I don't know. I've been around him every day of his life, and it seems like it's a superpower. Like, my son just lives his life with such dignity. It's hard to explain to people, like my son doesn't talk about or engage in anything he's not innately interested in. So like, you know, tomorrow, like how everybody in this theater, and you guys are all gonna go to work and ask somebody you don't like that much what they're doing this weekend. Even though you don't care. You know how we're all gonna do that because we're frauds? My son will never do that. Think about the freedom. Think about at the end of your life if you added up a pie chart of how many conversations you engaged in that you knew weren't going anywhere. What would you do to get that time back? Because the way my son thinks is just very linear. It's just like, you know, why would you ask a question if you didn't care what the answer was? That's why he's my hero. He just lives like a knight of the round table. He just does whatever he wants. He says whatever he wants. It's like, I've been in entertainment for 20-some years. I know a lot of famous people. I've been around them. I could care less. Being around my son, I feel like he's famous to me, you know, because he just says whatever he wants. I'm like, oh my God, this kid. Like, we were at a Target in Irvine, California. I was out with the boys who went to a water park out there. It was a disaster. We'll get to that. It was bad. But you know, Ford and I were at a Target at like 9 in the morning, and we were next to check out, and there was a guy in front of us, and he wasn't yelling at his wife, but he was yelling about something to his wife, and it was annoying me, so it definitely was annoying my son Ford, because the guy, I guess their 16-year-old want an expensive car, and he's just like yelling, and so he's like, why does this 16-year-old need a $25,000 car? I didn't have a $25,000 car when I was 16. Why does your son need that? I don't think we should buy it. And I could tell, because my son was on his iPad, that this guy's voice was starting to penetrate his orbit of joy. And I was like, hey, bro, you better pipe down, dog. You don't want that smoke, but he didn't recognize the cues, which is ironic. And, you know, he just kept going on. He's just like, yeah, you know what? That's your son. If you want to buy him the car, you buy him the car. And Ford put his iPad down. I was like, it's too late now. And Ford, he comes up to about my shoulder. He just took a step towards the guy and just like looks at him curiously. And he just goes, what's the matter? You can't pay for it? And then he just stood there like a gangster and waited for an answer. It was the most manly thing I've seen in 48 years on this planet. And I've seen movies with The Rock in them. It was just, and the thing is, it's like, I know to some people it sounded like an insult. And if I said that to anybody sitting here, I would be insulting you. I'd be saying something about your financial position, about how successful you've been in life. But Ford, again, he thinks way more linear than we do. Ford is just like, I've been listening. Sounds like you have a problem. It appears to be financial. Is my hypothesis correct? And then he just proceeds to emit cold shade. That should be a flavor of Mike's Hard Lemonade, just cold shade, with my son's face on the box like, you broke, dog? Yeah, but I was talking about that weekend in Irvine. It was like just such a weird weekend because, you know, I love my kids. My kids are with me. And it's like, I feel like we're like the first generation of parents. We actually care how our kids perceive us. So I want to mirror the right behavior. Like my dad, for as much as he loved us, there was like a line back then with like kids and adults. Now I'm like, you know, I want to show the right behavior in front of my kids. So I'm like, I don't even know, even when the situation calls for me to get upset, I don't know if I'm going to do that in front of my kids. And like we had a situation because, you know, we're in a hotel. We're out there at a water park. And, you know, it's lunchtime. And my son Elijah, my daughter wasn't with us. I was like, hey man, it's lunchtime. What do you want? And just out of nowhere, he just goes, let's get some Dairy Queen. That laugh. I know. I was like, I've known you since the second you've been on the planet. We've never gotten Dairy Queen. I've never eaten Dairy Queen. No one with your last name has ever suggested Dairy Queen. I don't want Dairy Queen. I don't want it. I'm like, did we lose a Little League tournament? Isn't that I'm not being rude. Is that the rule? Like if you win Little League, you get Dairy Queen, and if you lose, you have to eat there. I thought that was the rule. So, you know, but instead, like my dad would have just been like, we're not getting Dairy Queen. Next question. We were just going somewhere else. But me, I can't stand up for myself because they're little cute, dumb faces. I can't say no to them. So I just had the passive-aggressive dad around it. Instead of just saying no, I just go, yeah, Elijah, I looked it up. It's 21 minutes one way. He goes, yeah, I saw that. We should get going. I was like, shit. I did not want Dairy Queen. I'm like, but I can't stand up for myself, so I'm yelling at myself internally. I'm like, Al, get your rental car keys. We're going to get the worst food in the county because you can't speak up. So we get to Dairy Queen, 21 minutes one way in Irvine, California. We get there. It's my two sons and myself. We walk in, 16-year-old behind the counter, and I'm just like, Jackson, 3 cheeseburger meals. And she's just like, very delightful 16. She's just like, oh, we don't have food at this location anymore. I know. And this wasn't happening in a place for comedies in real life. And when you can't get mad at the person across you because she's 16, and I'm not going to do that. I'm trying not to get mad in front of my kids. I think it's just men. We just have to channel our anger somewhere, so it just has to go straight to the floors. That's why we just talk. We're just like, but your website says that you have food. And she goes, yeah, I got to get my dad to take that down. And he's like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, if you could. My credit card information's in there now. But she tried to be nice. She tried to do something really nice. She was like, oh, well, you know, while you guys are here, I can make you guys 3 chili cheese dogs on the house. And I was like, that's nice of you, but make it 2. I'm 47. I can't have a chili cheese dog in the middle of the day. That's the end of we're not doing anything after that. It's just like, oh, here's where Dad laid down. You know, it's like, no. So, and again, she's trying to be sweet. She makes these chili cheese dogs, but this is what I'm talking about. And I feel like it's a bigger problem, and I blame myself, and I blame all of you guys. I feel like as consumers, you guys, I'm looking at your face, you guys are pleasant. You guys are just, we're all just too nice. These companies, we go in these businesses, they're like, oh, we don't have what you need. You go, oh, no problem. You know, oh, no problem. And now customer service is just like, I'll get back to Dairy Queen, but just like, because of your niceness, now we all are checkout clerks at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? It's just like now, in a life filled with pressure and anxiety, we now have that now, you know, that anxiety when you're next at self-checkout and you feel everybody's eyes on the back of your neck. And you know you got something you gotta weigh and you can feel everybody behind you, like put those grapes down. And you're like, my wife wants them. You know what I'm saying? You know you gotta weigh them. And instead of like having an interaction with a human being, now it's just that one clerk that just stands there like that killer Asian robot in Squid Game, just like looking for people stealing. It's everywhere. Because we just like gave up the game. The hotels aren't the same. Like they realized like during the pandemic that they don't have to have as many housekeepers. So now you can tell like when you go in a hotel, like they're just, like they're not dirty. But they're not clean, you know what I'm saying? Like hotel rooms, it used to be like before COVID, like you go in a hotel and you'd be like almost knocked backwards by that industrial chemical smell of clean. Now like, hotels are like, now they're clean like the way a man cleans. You know what I'm saying? Like, we straighten up the remotes, but don't be lifting shit. Like, we didn't vacuum under there, you know? So, like, I'm at this Dairy Queen, and she just, you know, gets the chili cheese dogs, but she gets the can and the can opener. And she opened it like a foot from my face. And there is a sound that coagulated beans make. It's both disgusting and sexual. And I'm like, hey, my kids are here. I haven't talked to them about that yet. Can you go around the corner with that? No gloves? Thanks. I don't know. Maybe I'm complaining about the wrong stuff. You know, I don't let myself get bogged down with things that bother me. I feel like it was since COVID, I like started focusing on things that I love. You know, I stopped drinking in 2019, so I was like, it made me like start analyzing the relationships that I love, that, you know, I really had nurtured, or really even taken the time to appreciate, like just like simple things you don't even think about, like stuff like my relationship with Girl Scout cookies. Have you ever thought about like your relationship? I didn't really take the time to analyze my relationship with Girl Scout cookies until I saw a documentary on heroin. I swear to God, because the guy that they were following around for the documentary, he said something I'll never forget. He goes, yes, of course I'm addicted to the drugs, but I'm also addicted to the ritual of doing them. And I was like, that's how I feel about Girl Scout cookies. I have a ritual, I have a way that I eat them, you know what I'm saying? I don't just like get them and eat them in the car like a wild animal. Nah, Doc. Here's how I wait till it's like 12:37 at night when everybody in the house is asleep, you know. Sneak to the kitchen, we all got the same outfit on. T-shirt, underwear, no pants. Pants in the house is weird. Socks. You go to the kitchen, you don't pull the rookie move and turn the kitchen light on. That's for kids. You turn on the oven light over the stove. That low light, like when you were trying to have sex in college. Go to the freezer. Get a sleeve of Thin Mints that you put in there 8 hours earlier like an adult. We do this. You're gonna finish those cookies. They're not going back in that freezer. You finish what you start. You lean your butt cheeks up against the gold counter. And you're just like, man, that feels nice. That's your whole adult life right there. That's what you've been working for. It's not your fancy house. You can't appreciate all that. Go get a boat. How often are you on that? Just that little bit of time in our busy adult lives. Like, I never realized how busy I was as an adult until I was coming out of a Trader Joe's and this kid with a clipboard was like, do you have a minute to save the planet? And I was like, no. And I wasn't being rude. Like, I was like, I have 3 jobs and 3 kids. I don't have a minute for whales, you know? And it's hard as adults to just relax. That's the only time you can do it in the middle of the night, eating in the dark, like a psychopath. It's awesome. Just like, because I was like just leaning against the counter. It was so quiet in the house, like I could hear the cookies breaking underneath my jaws. And it's like the only time you get a chance to just have a random thought and complete it, I was like leaning against the counter and it's like, I had this random thought and it like made me stop chewing. I was like, hold on. Where is all the Girl Scout cookie money? You ever thought about that? Where is all the Girl Scout cookie money? You want to talk about this business model? They don't pay their employees. They don't advertise. They don't pay taxes. They have no commercial real estate space. Where is all the Girl Scout cookie money? Their employees are allowed to break the law? Girl Scouts trespass like no other. Girl Scouts are allowed to sell food in front of places that sell food. That is super illegal. I'll tell you what, tonight after the show, go home and package up some sandwiches at your house and try and sell them in front of Whole Foods tomorrow. And you let me know when I need to bail you out. You can't do that. Girl Scouts can. And then it hit me, I was like, am I the only one that's seen season 3 of The Wire? It's the drug game. You get your product from a large distributor. You break it down, you give it to your runners, AKA the Girl Scouts. They give it to their runners, AKA their parents. Have you ever met anybody who worked for the Girl Scouts? I haven't. You ever met a Girl Scout that wasn't trying to sell you something? I haven't. Has a Girl Scout ever helped you? Am I saying something untoward? I think that's a fair question. I will stop doing the joke if one person stands up like, I gotta stop you right there, buddy. 3 weeks ago, I stepped out from behind the back of this bar to smoke a cig. 2 guys rolled up on me, tried to take my watch and my wallet, but 4 Girl Scouts came out of nowhere. They had just got their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu patch. That's why I'm here today. So stupid. I stopped letting myself get upset about things. I just started having a new perspective on life. I did a lot of work on myself over the pandemic, and it's like, even though it's been years ago, it's still with me. And when I say work, I mean mushrooms. It worked, and I know like talking about mushrooms in Boulder is not really pushing the limits there, but for a 50-year-old black guy from Cleveland, Ohio, it's a big deal. I didn't grow up with them, but none of my homeboys ever mentioned them, so I didn't know what mushrooms did for probably the first 42 years of my life. Like, I had no idea. So the first time I did mushrooms, I did them wrong, which I know you're like, how do you do that? I'll tell you. I used to do a ton of USO tours, and I had done 2 back-to-back. I had done 1 in Japan, and then I had, because of the visa situation, I had to fly back to the States for a day, and then fly back to Australia to do more shows. And then I had to fly back to the States. I had to do a comedy festival on Saturday night, and that Monday, I had to be on Nickelodeon in New York City for a live show. And so flying back to the States after my second round trip around the world, my body clock was all messed up. I've been out of the country for a month. And I was like, I need to rest up and reset. I need to get some mushrooms. This is and like I know you're saying, no, where were you when I needed you? None of my homeboys had ever mentioned mushroom. Like, no, black men didn't, it was not a thing. It was not, I can't express, it was never mentioned. And so I just went my whole life, maybe I saw a movie, I was like, I think they make you sleepy, that's what they do. And so I walked around thinking that, and so I get to the comedy festival where I was gonna do my first mushrooms ever, and it's where you should, not here in beautiful Boulder, Grand Rapids, Michigan, yes. I call it God's country. Marriott, Fairfield, and Suites, that's what's up. And the reason I had access to him is I was doing a comedy festival, was a bunch of headliners in the same hotel, and one of my homeboys, he's been sober forever, but all he does is psychedelics, so he always has them on him. And I know that sounds weird, but comedians, I never thought that was funny till people laugh. But yeah, all he does is psychedelics. So I called his room, and I was just like, hey, do you have any mushrooms? And he goes, of course. And I go, can I have some? And he's like, are you sure? And I didn't realize, like, when that's somebody's answer, when you ask them for their drugs, you should not do them, but. So he brought them down and he gave them to me, and they were like cookies, and I took them, and I must have started acting weird quickly, because I thought that they were working. I was starting to get tingly. You get your first like little mushroom thought, and mine was, yes, you've gotten yours. Welcome. Yeah, mine was super weird and like funny and dark, because my first thought was like, you guys know, like in the early 80s, the FBI and the CIA definitely flooded the hood with crack cocaine. Like, they did that. And in my head, I was like, they did it and I can prove it. My first thought on mushrooms ever. I'm about to debunk a CIA mystery. But it makes sense though, because it's a deliberate act, because crack and meth, they're specific drugs meant to break up communities, break up families. If the FBI didn't know what they was gonna do, why didn't they just flood the hood with a random drug? Why didn't they just flood it with mushrooms? How would that have changed the course of human history? Music history. Yeah, like NWA would be an acoustic band. How beautiful, we got Ice Cube on the sitar. You're like, all right, bring him out. And so I must have been like clearly acting weird, and I didn't know what like having a bad trip was. My friend was in my room. He was literally like rubbing my back because I was acting up. And in my head, I'm like, I'm getting sleepy. He's talking my ear off. He needs to go. He was like, I'm gonna stay for a little while, make sure you're cool. And I'd like politely kick my friend out of the room. And as soon as the lock on that hotel room door clicked, them bitches must have kicked all the way in, because I immediately turned and started talking about him to the art that was in the room. I was like, man, what happened to him? He used to be fun. We used to hang out. And I was like, oh, I'm talking to a picture. This is funny. We'll laugh about it. So I opened the door to go get him. But at this point, 56 minutes had passed. So he's gone now. And this is not funny anymore. I am high on a drug I've never taken in a random city, in a random hotel. And this is the only thing that I think separates men from any other gender, is when we get really high or drunk, our first thought is like, let me just get my shirt off. I don't know what that is. But men are just like, I can't think. Like, it's like, so I took my shirt off and I went to the bathroom and I wrapped myself in toilet paper and I sat on the edge of the bed. And that movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith was on some terrible cable channel. I was like, oh my God, this movie is still unwatchable. That was a long way to go to shit on Will Smith. No. I really did. I tried everything I did when I was still with my ex-fiance. We tried all. We pulled out all stops. We did couples therapy, which I highly recommend. And I went into it ignorant, of course. I was just like, they're gonna gang up on me. It's two women. It's like, it was a stupid way to think. I went in there and had one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had, because we were like 40 minutes into our third session, and the therapist was like, Al, I don't want to cut you off, but your partner called ahead, and she was like, she's worried that you don't see our sessions as an open forum to talk about any kink or fetish that you may have. And at the time, we were arguing because she said that I ran the dishwasher twice a day. So I was like, are we done with the dishwasher? And I was really just stalling, because it really hit me in real time. I was like, I never realized how busy a black man's mind is that in 47 years, I never felt like I had the time or the luxury to have a kink or a fetish, you know? It's so weird how we talk about money and finance and privilege, how we address sex, you know? It's always presented to us as like some weird, seedy guy downtown in a raincoat flashing people, but that's not it. If you're in the world of sex, if you're in the world of kink, like, you made it. Financially, all you people doing tantric sex, that takes like 14 hours. You can't also be driving for Uber. That's free time, that's money, that's wealth. Do you know how much money it costs to get a contractor to come out of your house and like figure out which one of your walls is load bearing? Yeah. You can't hang a sex swing anywhere, you'll fall. So tonight, when you and your partner are both staring in the mirror in black latex masks with only the eyes cut out, I want you to unzip your mouth. And I want you to say, honey, that comic was right. We made it. And then I want your partner to say, I know, baby. Now get in your cage. Guys, I've been Al Jackson. Thank you so much.